If you shower or brush your teeth or try to make your hair look presentable, here's some good news. Dollar Shave Club has a lot of stuff to help you out. Dollar Shave Club delivers everything you need to look, feel, and smell your best. Shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, hair gel, even a wipe that leaves your tush feeling tingly clean. All of Dollar Shave Club's products are made with top-shelf ingredients that won't break your budget. You'll feel the difference. Plus, shipping is free with your membership. And here's a great way to try a bunch of Dollar Shave Club's products for just $5. You can get their Daily Essential Starter Set. It comes with Body Cleanser, One Wipe Charlie's, their amazing butt wipes, and their world-famous shave butter. And their best razor, the 6-Blade Executive. Keep the blades coming for a few more bucks a month and add in a shampoo, toothpaste, or anything else you need. Check it all out at dollarshaveclub.com/Chad. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Chad.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I had one beer, right? I had one beer. Well, you think it was... Nope, it was one beer. Oh, good. How did you get home? I don't remember. How'd you get there? I don't remember. Where is the place? I don't remember. How many years ago was it? I don't know. I don't know. What neighborhood was it in? I don't know. Where's the house? I don't know. Upstairs, downstairs, where was it? I don't know. But I had one beer. That's the only thing I remember. And a man's life is in tatters. A man's life is shattered.
That was Trump last night doing what Trump does. First and foremost, because we all agree, Trump loves the crowd, right? And the crowd loves Trump. Trump is a guy that goes out like a performer, an actor, particularly a comedian or a rock band that goes out there and he feels the energy and he knows this is where I can go with this crowd. My base, and this is what I was trying to explain to people yesterday. He understands that half the country doesn't like him. They don't. So no matter what he does, he's never going to get them to like him. His base loves him. They love him for different reasons. And you can scream and say, it's only 17%, it's only 26%. Slow your roll. It's much bigger than you think because there's a lot of people out there that are quiet Trumpers, I call them. Quiet Trumpers. Last night, he went after her. He went after her last night. Now, Collins, Murkowski, Flake, who he needs, appalled by it, not happy about it. But let me tell you something. The FBI is probably going to wrap up potentially here in the next few hours. And it doesn't look good for the Democrats. It doesn't look good for Ford because it looks like there wasn't a lot out there. And he took an opening to say, you know, I've had enough. And that's the one thing we know about Trump is he knows when to jump into a situation and to get people rocking and rolling. But the media is partly to blame. And I was surprised to hear this today. This is Joe Scarborough, who, for all intents and purposes, not a fan of Trump, understands that, you know what, well, he used to be right. People call him a rhino. You know, he's engaged to Mika Brzezinski. He's on MSNBC. He is a lot of things, not a fan of Trump being one of them. But at the same time, I have a feeling that he's close friends with the Kavanaughs. At least one of the two of them are. And he has said it over and over again. He thinks that Kavanaugh should be on the Supreme Court. He came out today and did something and said something that people aren't saying.
That we talked to, who I think a lot of more registered Democrats raised questions about Dr. Ford's story. Now, that's something in 24/7 news coverage, at least in mainstream media, you never hear anybody talk about. They won't talk about it. They feel that, if anybody sticks their neck out and says that they disbelieve any part of her story, or if they talk about how there are no corroborating witnesses, well, they'll get absolutely slammed.
Yeah. And see, and in this day and age, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're a performer, if you almost have to have two personas. And we've talked about this before, right? We've talked about that big companies, big corporations now are dividing the way that they advertise to certain groups of people in certain ways because it's become that kind of tribalism online and elsewhere where you have to be careful. So the Republicans and everybody else, it's the mass. We're afraid of the mass. We're afraid of being insensitive. We're afraid of backlash. And Trump last night found an area. He found a lane and he's like, I'm taking that lane. This is the lane I'm going in. I've said all along, I don't think it was Kavanaugh. I don't think that something that she is lying. I think something happened to her. What happened to her, I do not know. And one of the things that we've always talked about in life, it's about experience. How you experience something and how I experience something could be two different things. We could go through a situation that is to you traumatizing and I could be like, and wait, move on. That could be it as well. I'm not saying she's lying, but I'm saying maybe the experience was different. Maybe it wasn't him, but he took it. And we are afraid in this day and age because we also understand in this day and age, it only takes one thing for you to get in trouble because the masses jump upon you. So everybody walks and treads carefully. And partly, and that has nothing to do with, you may come out and say, look, I think she's a liar. I think she's just nothing but a fat liar. And I think you could come out and say that and you can get destroyed for it. Right? If your company will stand behind you saying, look, these are my views. And this is what my views are. But you can't do that nowadays because you're playing with people's lives and you're playing with a livelihood. So sometimes people will be like, I don't want to, I don't feel this way, but I've got to say something. And when you don't control your own destiny, it's tough to go out and say something like that.
We found her to be very persuasive, but the media coverage of this has been so one-sided. It has been so biased. There has been the presumption from the very beginning that every single allegation made against the judge was true. And I say this again as somebody who said before the allegations, he should be on the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Look, I think he's a good dude. And if the drinking is the issue that of a teenager, then we're all going to be in trouble, except for me because I don't drink, and I've never even had a drink. But outside of that, a lot of people are going to have to quit their jobs in politics, in life. And that's the insanity of what he lied because he drank a little bit more. Come on, get off your moral high horse. But the media has painted a picture. We've got to believe everybody. We've got to believe everybody. And I've said it from jump. You got to believe the truth. Believe the truth, not everybody, because not everybody's telling the truth. Not everybody is telling the truth. It's an issue. It is a huge, huge, huge issue here. 100%. He took advantage of it last night. He knows what to do with his crowd. He jumped in there and he knew exactly what to do and when to do it. He took advantage of it. Because I think he knows nothing's coming out. This guy's life's been put through hell. Her life is being put through hell. And I blame that on the Democrats because they needed some way to try to slow this down. They needed some way to stop this. They needed some way for this thing to slow down to the point where they think they could get one or two to jump over, just put enough doubt in somebody's mind and enough fear in somebody's mind that they'll say, no, I can't vote for this guy because even though I don't believe him publicly, I've got to look like I believe her, even though I don't believe he did anything. Even though I don't think he did anything, publicly, I got to do this. Because we live in two worlds now. We have an online world and a world of social media warriors that are out there being, hey, I'm justified in doing the things that I do. And if I deem that you've done something wrong, I have every right to destroy you. And I'll get the media and everybody else to bend to my ways because we don't want them to look insensitive. And we don't want them to ask hard questions because we feel, and that's a big word right there, feelings. Don't care about the truth. Don't care about data and facts. Feelings will override everybody and everything. It's not the way we live our lives. It should be about the truth. In the end, it should be only about the truth. Nothing else should matter. We can take into account your feelings. We can talk about that, but it should change the outcome of something. This has been a political hit job from Jump Street. I'm not saying that he's a wonderful, infallible human being. I don't know the guy. Neither do you. But what they've portrayed him as is that trailer we put out yesterday is the boogeyman. He's going to destroy everything that is holy to the left. He's going to destroy everything in the world that matters to the left. He is here because he is the fourth rider in the apocalypse of the horsemen. That's what he is, and that's how he's being painted. And more people are kind of realizing that. I've talked to a couple friends of mine who are very progressive. They said, I don't believe any of it. And they were laughing like, God, if somebody looked in my yearbook, geez, what did I write back then? I wasn't politically correct or woke as I am now. One of my friends said, I'm not as woke as I am now. If you look back at my yearbook, we got all kinds of codes and things that we said. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. He took advantage of it last night. He works an audience because as much as he's a politician or trying to become one, he's a performer.
And so then Donald Trump goes and he says it. Yeah. And it is like lighting a keg on fire. And I will say, not just because Donald Trump divides every day in a way that is unbecoming of a president, but because the media has also given Donald Trump a massive opening because they've been so one-sided on this story that it allows him to light dynamite and blow the whole thing up.
Yep.
And about the dividing, let's remember there's two sides to the story. Half the nation can't stand him. They're never going to like him. Doesn't matter what he does. Period. Case closed. Doesn't matter what he does. Half the nation hates him. He doesn't play to that half. He knows where his bread is buttered. And that's where he goes. That's it. He knows that. He absolutely knows that. So, divide, you're throwing that out there. He ran in last night. He did the thing that he does. And he said what a lot of people are thinking, but they're afraid. It's the same thing we talk about when people go and they'll go somewhere and they'll be sitting in an audience and somebody will say something horrible about Trump and somebody doesn't believe it, but their fear factor is, oh, through peer pressure, I better clap and agree with what that person's saying. That is where we are. The two personas. Somebody calls you today and you're a fan of Trump. A lot of people who vote for Trump, you know what they don't tell anybody? Those are the quiet Trumpers out there. You know what? If it's a robot, they'll be like, yeah, I like Trump. If it's a human, more often than not, they'll say, I'm undecided or no, I'm not really a big fan. Because we have a fear of being judged. Absolutely. Trump said it last night.
I had one beer, right? I had one beer. Well, do you think it was? Nope, it was one beer. Oh, good. How did you get home? I don't remember. How'd you get there? I don't remember. Where is the place? I don't remember. How many years ago was it? I don't know. I don't know. What neighborhood was it in? I don't know. Where's the house? I don't know. Upstairs, downstairs, where was it? I don't know. But I had one beer. That's the only thing I remember. And a man's life is in tatters. A man's life is shattered.
Yep. For now. Because I have a feeling this time next week he's going to be on the Supreme Court. Because I do think that this is going to come back. And I think we need to start being honest with one another, that we care only about the truth. Feelings, we can talk about them, we can empathize with people, but if the truth is something, we can't change that because of feelings. That's not how we should live our lives. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
Many of you texting in, tweeting. It's exhausting talking about this stuff. It's not fun. It really is. I'll tell you, here's some stuff. I'll throw it out to you. I don't enjoy it. It's not fun. It's not entertaining. It's not interesting in the sense that, we're talking about potentially a sexual assault, all these kind of things. We're talking potentially about destroying a human being's life. We're talking about all of this stuff. And after a while, it's repetitive. Let's just get it done with. Right? They're going to have supposedly as early as this evening Potentially tomorrow they'll have the FBI stuff in. Maybe by this weekend they'll vote on him. Democrats are coming out saying that there was inappropriate behavior that the FBI sussed out in a few of the earlier investigations. Why that's coming out now. But they're Hail Marying it because they realize all this stuff is starting to come to an end, and that dubious feeling of that it might be over. They can't stop him. I don't know. You sit there and you get frustrated. You do. I get frustrated. I'm over it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you each and every day at this time from my super awesome tower high above the globe. Floating around, I like to drop on you some knowledge that will make you hipper and cooler in thine streets. We call this our Urban Word of the Day.
It's time for the Urban Word of the Day, fam.
What? Right now?
Time to get a little more hip on the streets.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Urban Word of the Day.
You might look around and you'll see on your cellular telephones, mobile if you're in England, TBH. Like, what's that? What are the kids talking about? What's this TBH? Is this some sort of drugs? Are you smoking the reefer? No. It's to be honest. Oh, yes, kids. They shorten things. We're going to have a new vernacular. We're going to have a new language in years to come. It's going to be simple and easy. Emojis will be part of our alphabet now. Are you ready for that? To be honest, not really. TBH is your Urban Word of the Day.
Thank you for saying that in dated urban slang so that I'll understand you. That there was the Urban Word of the Day. We damn stretched your cranium.
Once upon a time, a lobster, a parrot, and a peacock decided they were going to eat some cupcakes and play with a lacrosse stick. So they got themselves put into iPhones all over the world. They're all some of the newest emojis that'll be part of the latest Apple operating system. They'll be joined by a hiking boot, some luggage, a salt shaker, a frisbee, and a whole new line of bald people. And if you're still wanting for tiny ways to express yourself, you could always send the new llama out alongside the softball or a mango. They're included too.
A mango. The bald people I'm interested in, because this is here's the thing. Every time they come up with new emojis, right? And remember, their operating system is only for them. So it's not an open system where you can, like, when you're on an Android, you can add all kinds of stuff. It's only Apple approved. So when you get these situations where it takes them forever and there's going to release 70 of them, you know that there was a quality control person that was looking at all of these going, all right, can we add this? And is this going to culturally appropriate somebody and or hurt someone's feelings? Because if it is, then we can't add it. And even with all that being said, you know that there's going to be an emoji in the next few days that people will be talking about that in some way, shape, or form has hurt somebody and or left somebody out of something. That's about all you can say to that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Trump took a little bit of a dump when it comes to the richest. We'll talk about that. Plus, the media and Trump, the love-hate relationship that Ted Koppel spells out so well that we have been talking about for years. It's almost like Ted's listening to the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Money. Donald Trump has been very, very good for baseball. He has been wonderful for the industry. Your boss acknowledged as much a number of months ago during the campaign.
Les Moonves,
Donald Trump, huh?
It was Les Moonves who acknowledged
Les Moonves also acknowledged it, but so did the head of CNN.
But that means what?
If
ratings are up, that means what?
The ratings are up. It means you can't do without Donald Trump.
What? That's Ted Koppel. He's right. We talk about it here, right? We do. We talk about it here. We know how much they love each other. Last week was the perfect example of how much he loves the media. And what was funny is the media talks about Trump as if he is the devil and he is evil. And for whatever reason, I honestly believe this. I don't think that they understand that for him, it's part of the pantomime. It's part of the act. Fighting with the media is part of the act. I think they think it's real. It's like, okay, here's a perfect example. Was it Rocky 3 where he fought Hot Lips or whatever his name was? Which is Hulk Hogan. And it got dirty and nasty because he thought it was supposed to be an exhibition, Rocky, and they went at it. And I don't think they know that they're part of it. They're benefiting from it. Big time. Huge. Massive. Mega. Big, huge. Absolutely they are. They're soaking it up. They're loving every second of the money they're making. But the problem is they're so into the fact that they think that somehow, in some way, shape, or form, they're shaping this world based on their beliefs, and it's all about them. And he has nothing to do with it. They're coming there because of their talent, their skill, and the way that they're reporting. No, they're coming there because he's interesting and he's salacious, and people will watch that.
You would be lost without Donald Trump.
Chad, you know that's not true.
Chad, you know that's not true.
CNN's ratings would be in the toilet without Donald Trump.
Ooh, he called you guys turds. Yes. 100%. Brian Stelter, you know that's not true. That's not true, Ted. That's the way he sounds in my head. That's not true, Ted. I don't think that's true. You're lying. They come to us because we are great at what we do. We do compelling work. Absolutely. That's why they come to us.
You know that's not true. You're playing for laughs. You've lived through enough presidencies to know
Hold on a
there will be
second,
more
Brian.
presidents.
What were the ratings before Trump and what are the ratings now?
I would say we might be up 20, we might be up 30%, we might be up 40%. If we go back down 40%, that's okay too.
Well, it may not be okay.
Yeah, let's do this. Whoa, Brian. Do you understand how this works, Brian? I have no idea. They're coming to see me. I know that. No, Brian, they're not. They're not coming to see you, right? You guys are a referee. Nobody goes to a sporting event to watch the ref. Nobody does. Nobody goes to a sporting event and goes, I hope the ref is great tonight and we could talk about it. Nobody does. Nobody. Zero snada. Nobody's coming to watch you, Brian Stelter, or any of these people. They're not. They're coming to watch you guys argue and debate over it and how you guys can frame it, and you're evoking emotions out of it. But if it wasn't about him, they weren't coming. And that right there is the reality of what he is. He's an industry. He's selling tons of books. He is getting people who were once on essentially the trash heap of their careers. They were struggling, and it's on both sides of the aisle. And he has made them relevant again and brought them back from the grave for a lot of them. 110%. And listen to what he says here about MSNBC.
I reject the premise that these networks are making so much money off of Trump and thus we benefit from it.
Tell me for a moment, if you will, let's get away from CNN, a sensitive subject.
No.
Let's go to MSNBC. Is there a moment of the day when they are not focusing on Donald Trump or some intimately related subject?
No, because he's interesting. If you left it up to them, what do you have? I'll throw this out at you guys. A little easier. Like sports. Sports is work. It's a great thing. Meritocracy. Best players understand the way it works, the whole 9 yards. Without the best players, this is the way it goes. The Cleveland Cavaliers are going to suck this year. They were in the finals last year. Why? Because of LeBron James. Nobody's going to watch the Cleveland Cavaliers play basketball. The Lakers sucked last year. They're going to be on TV almost every single night. Why? LeBron James. Are we understanding this? Are we getting this? Brian Stelter, do you understand? No, I still don't understand. They're coming to see me. They're not coming to see you sit on the bench. They're not. He makes it interesting. He is the draw. Don't overthink the room. You can at least be somewhat honest about the fact that he's the reason that ratings are up. MSNBC is a perfect example, right? They weren't even in the toilet. They were in the outhouse. They were like, nope, you got to go outside. You can't even be in here. Now, Rachel Maddow and Hannity battle it out for top. They've given new life to certain shows and hosts, and that includes the right. Hannity, same thing, gave him some life. Struggled. But let's be honest for just this. If we're going to be intellectually honest here, don't tell me he doesn't have an effect on you.
You know, if the number of people who died in Indonesia gets up to 1,000, they'll give it a mention.
It's 1,400.
But by and large, the only news that's covered, program after program after program.
Chad, I have to
with
interrupt.
The same guest.
Chad,
yes, please.
But you've got to admit, an awful lot of what Trump does in the course of a day is news.
Yes, of
and
course
so whether
is.
you're an MSNBC or CBS or ABC,
right,
you're going to cover him.
Yeah, you're going to cover him. You will cover him. But it's the amount of what you're covering, how you're covering, the way that you're covering. Would you cover another president this way? There's a great article that it's in the Federalist. Producer Phil sent it to me earlier today. Well done, Phil. And it's called, if men don't want to get Kavanaugh, they should follow the Pence rule. And Pence gets made fun of this all the time. Right? He won't travel, won't go anywhere, won't be in a room alone with a woman. He CYAs himself. Billy Graham and many other people have gone, oh, they're just a bunch of fuddy-duzzies and blah, 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 blah. No. I get why they do that. I understand why they do that. They take their faith serious. They do all of those things. But how boring would it be to cover Pence? Right? I'd be like, oh, this is boring. Of course. Be absolutely boring. What are you going to talk about? Not a lot. And then it's up to you to make it work. Ooh. People are going to find you super interesting. If you're not super interesting and you weren't interesting before and you've not made yourself any better, and all of a sudden that thing that made you interesting, at least for a while, is left, and now all of a sudden you've got to rely on your talents? Ooh, I don't know. Just saying. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Following a story that's still breaking. So a suspect is in custody. One officer's dead. 5 law enforcement officers are shot. And another person was shot. So how, what, who knows why this happened? It's crazy, right? It's absolutely crazy. And this is one of those things where, and I want you guys to pay attention to this. So just like we were talking about with Trump, right? Just like we're talking about. How big of a story will it be if there's no narrative to paint? If there's no narrative to paint and the media can't paint something out like this. If this is a disgruntled African-American, boom. If it's a woman, maybe interesting. If it is a terrorist, probably. If it is somebody who's crazy, how are they going to paint this? How long will it be there before something else happens? And we move on from it, or there's very little coverage. You heard him say about Indonesia, it's 1,400 people. I've not seen it one time. Not one time have I seen it on CNN or anywhere else. I haven't seen any of it. I've seen a few pictures, but I've not seen them talk about it virtually at all. Because it doesn't sell. We're like, it's the other side of the world. We don't care. Get back to us when you kill another 250,000 tsunami. Chad, that's rude. Why would you say that? I know, it's the honesty thing. Somebody tweeted in earlier. Trump says all the things that a lot of regular people would say. Yeah, that's why people liked Howard Stern and loved Howard Stern. Because Howard would say stuff that a lot of other people would say. And here's the difference. Howard could not survive today because nobody would give him the leeway to do what he did. I think a lot more people would be open to saying certain things if they knew they weren't going to pay the penalty for even a joke. But you can't, right? You can't. I mean, God, I've talked to a few of my comic buddies who are like, man, I'm worried about being on stage at times in a comedy club because somebody's going to take something and the next thing you know, you're splashed everywhere and you're destroyed for it. And the only way we get past these kind of things is when people start to stand up, companies, corporations, and say, you know what? We're not going to let you bully us into firing him or her over this. And after usually one or two times, they go away. They get bored because they know that they're not going to get you to do something. So pushing you to do it again and again isn't going to get it done. So they'll move on to the next person that's an easy mark that they think they can take on. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. By the way, Trump and his fortune stayed virtually the same, about $3.1 billion, but he went from, he dropped 11 spots. He went from 248 to 259. And this is interesting. I want to get to more of this in a moment because we always hear it's like, all this money, the wealth, it's transferring hands, it's all this thing. I want to talk about some of the stuff that's on here. And while it makes me laugh when I hear Bernie come out and say those things, 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Oh, my Lord, CarShield. What is CarShield, Chad? CarShield's great. I have it. I have it on all my cars. Like I got a bunch of cars. Like I have it on all my cars. I don't buy new cars. I buy used cars. They don't come with a warranty. That's where extended vehicle protection comes in. I buy good used cars. I know they're going to last a long time. I'm never going to have a payment. I don't need anything unless it's for tax purposes. The reality is I like to know, though, that the just in case is there to protect me if something goes south. What is that? I don't know. My fuel pump breaks. That cost me how much? Whoa, I don't know. I don't even know how much it costs because I hand it to CarShield and they take care of it. They make the entire process of fixing your car for a cover repair so easy. 24/7 roadside assistance. And the thing I love and I tell people is I love the fact that they tell me I can take it where I want to take it if something happens. Because normally you get these things and they say, well, you got to take it here and they've got to deal with them. And all they really want to do is put a Band-Aid on it and get it out. And they want to pay the bare minimum. They'll let you take it to the dealership to get it handled. So what are you waiting for? Get CarShield. Call 800-CAR-6100. Mention code Benson. Saves you 10%. That's 800-CAR-6100. Code Benson saves you 10%. Or carshield.com. Carshield.com. Use my code Benson to save yourself 10%. A deductible may apply. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter and Instagram. You could text the program. 323-538-2423, 323-538-2423. Like us on the old Facebook. And yes, YouTube, Chad Benson Show TV. Check us out there. It is the Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
So the Forbes list comes out. First of all, can we just say ass whooping is what Bezos has delivered. Huge. So 24 years, Gates has been numero uno. Bezos is number one by a massive margin. Incredible margin. In fact, $63 billion is what he leads. Gates on. That's how much. Billion. This is with a B. He saw his fortune rise to about 78 billion last year. That's massive. You're doing well, right? Like, you're doing pretty good. You're doing extremely well. Extremely well. But some of the, what we always hear is what? It's the most transfer of wealth. It's going to be the greatest, blah, 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 blah. You know, you hear all that stuff. And I've never been obsessed with, I love it when people make a ton of money. I got no problem with it. I want to make money. I do. I like it. I don't start businesses and work 70, 80 hours a week to not make money. I don't do any of that. Right? So the oldest person is 95, Sumner Redstone. The youngest is Evan Spiegel. He's 28. He's worth a paltry $2.2 billion. 12 people are on the list are under the age of 40. Here's a great thing. So out of the 400, how many of them got their money through inheritance? 64 only. 64 only. How many of them got their money through inheritance and then really increased it? I mean, maybe they got $100 or $200 million, but they've increased it to the point where they're on the list. 67 members. How many on the list are self-made? 269 of them. That's huge. Huge. Women growing. Out of the 457 are women. So up from 55 last year. Let's see here. Here's one for us, Phil. Lindsay Snyder. She owns Burger King. I mean, not Burger King, but In-N-Out. She's 36. She's the youngest woman in the rank. Yeah. She's on there. The In-N-Out burger. Good to know that burgers are making you billions. Oh, yeah. It's huge. It's great. It's amazing. 15 newcomers, and Trump is still on the list. Dude still got cash. Say what you want about him. And I'm sure he'll say, they got it wrong. He'll come out and say, they got it wrong. I'm worth $28 gazillion. Kabillion gazillion. You don't even know. It's lies. It's all lies. You wouldn't understand. It's huge. Still on the list. And I would say this. He probably, even though he stayed the same, $3.1 billion, I would say his brand probably lost $1 billion over the last 2.5, 3 years because of him being in politics now. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Check out all of the stuff that's going on in our world of internet fun, from YouTube channel to Instagram and so much more. Okay? Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Every person that she named has come out and said either they didn't recall it or it didn't happen or they weren't there. Every single bit of evidence and facts that we've seen in this moment have supported Judge Kavanaugh's case.
Yeah, now there's a new thing because apparently background checks that Dems are saying, these other background checks that the FBI did, the other 6 or 7, now apparently there's some stuff in there that shows inappropriate behavior. What that is, they're not saying. And it's ridiculous. It really is. And here's the thing. People are like, well, Kavanaugh and Ford haven't been contacted by the FBI. Did they not already give everybody their testimony under sworn oath? And the Senate still has more power than the FBI in these investigations. The FBI is going to gather information and then go, here. There you go. Last night, Trump doing what he did, pissed a lot of people off, saying what he said about her. And if you haven't heard it, it's the insensitive evil that Trump is.
I had one beer, right? I had one beer. Well, do you think it was? Nope, it was one beer. Oh, good. How did you get home? I don't remember. How'd you get there? I don't remember. Where is the place? I don't remember. How many years ago was it? I don't know. I don't know. What neighborhood was it in? I don't know. Where's the house? I don't know. Upstairs, downstairs, where was it? I don't know. But I had one beer. That's the only thing I remember. And a man's life is in tatters. A man's life is shattered.
And here we are. You know, how many weeks have we been talking about this? A lot. I wish they would just be honest and say, look, we don't want the guy, right? We don't want the guy. He's a bad human being.
They know that Kavanaugh is not very good, and they know his testimony hurt him across America.
It didn't. You want to know why it didn't? Because men stood back and say, I get it. I get it. And this is where the divide is coming, because somehow this has become an us versus them. It's not. But it's become that way. That's the way that the Democrats want it. Us versus them. So the right's going to play it on. It goes, that's the way it's going to be. Then we're going to go over here to this side of the us and say, you're on our team. And we'll let the them go over there and we'll play it up. Low-hanging fruit. We'll grab what we can. But men, and I heard from a lot of men, left and right, a lot of men who were like, you know what? That's a fear. Now, that's a fear. Absolutely. That's a fear, and it's been a fear for a long time. Not so much the sexual assault, but just the accusation of something. I mean, Garrison Keillor and his life being destroyed, you guys know who he is, right? You know, old NPR guy, that guy, where he hugged a woman, was consoling her. Something happened. The hug was too long, or his hand drifted, apparently. He apologized immediately. They exchanged emails. His apology was all gone, and all of a sudden his life's destroyed because his accusation comes out, and people are like, this thing can be weaponized. So let's take it out for a spin. Let's take it out for a spin. Why not? It can be weaponized. Let's go. Who could we get? That's what guys are afraid of. And if you don't think that's true, you're lying to yourself. If a man's willing to be honest with you, and I doubt many of them will, because remember, it's a touchy-feely world. No, that's not right. They'll say, yeah, I would worry about something like that. Star comes out and says, you know what? I only date girls I used to date before. I won't date anybody new because I'm afraid of this. You're a horrible person. Really? Because you're stating the obvious? I was telling producer Phil, and I'll throw this out there. We're adding some people to the show as far as behind the scenes and things like this. Because it's me and I have my own studio, I do my own thing, I don't really want to hire a woman out of fear of that right there. That's being honest. That is. And can you blame people nowadays? Can you? And then you look at something like this, where Trump said what he said because nobody else would. That's for damn sure.
We found her to be very persuasive, but the media coverage of this has been so one-sided. It has been so biased. There has been the presumption from the very beginning that every single allegation made against the judge was true. And I say this again as somebody who said before the allegations he should be on the Supreme Court.
And that right there is Joe Scarborough, who is as big a never Trumper as you're going to find. And he came out and said it. It's all a bunch, it's a bunch of crap. It is. It's allegations and the way this thing has gone down and the fact that you've got to believe. You can't even harbor for a second the thought that maybe she's not telling the truth. Maybe inside of this, she may not be lying. Something happened. I believe something has happened to her. How much of it, what took place, I don't know. But to even for the second think of something like that, even saying it out loud, social media and the posse that's out there is ready to punch you in the throat and do whatever they can to stop you from doing whatever it is you're doing. So you better get in line with the way that you're supposed to. Echo chamber over and over again. How dare you? Because we've allowed facts to be useless. We've allowed truth to no longer matter. All that matters are emotion and feelings. Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Certainly, the testimony by Dr. Ford was compelling, but you can't make this decision based on emotion. It has to be based on fact.
Oh, you're so horrible. And you're a woman. You're not even a good woman anymore, Sarah. We're taking your woman card away. I've said from the start, it's about truth. Who do you believe? You need to believe her. I don't need to believe anybody. I need to believe the truth. If it comes out tomorrow that there was all this stuff that he has done and, oh, my God, then, hey, you know what? Done. Goodbye. See ya. Adios. But if you can't prove it, and then you're going on emotion, and we've just got to believe, because we just got to believe, because it's the right thing to do, because I feel it's the right thing to do, but there's no proof. But still, doesn't it feel right? Because that's what it is. It's the feel right. And people are afraid. People are absolutely afraid to say things they may feel. They have to be two people. One, they keep it in, right? I call them the quiet Trumpers. There's a lot of people out there, quiet Trumpers. People who may agree a lot with Trump, but they can't tell anybody, right? They can't say anything. Because if they say anything, they're going to get mocked, they're going to get made fun of, they're going to get bullied, they're going to get picked on, they're going to get in trouble, they're going to put themselves in a bad situation in their workplace maybe, so they're just quiet. And there's a lot of them out there. And I've had friends who are progressive who say, look, if you asked me 18 months ago, would my life be better if Trump was president? I would have said no, but 18 months on, my life's a little bit better. I can't say that, though. And I've also had friends on the left come out and say, I don't think this chick's telling the truth. Not the way that she's describing it. The holes inside this thing is tremendous, whether it be, why she built the extra door, to find out that the extra door really wasn't built for that. It was built years before they supposedly built the extra door, or all of this stuff that's come out. Why? Because we're afraid. Because we've now gotten to the point where the thought police, the language police, have got everybody terrified. They're out there right now looking, waiting, swimming, checking your ID, your Twitter, your Facebook, your podcast, looking for something that they can pull you over, right, in their politically correct police car. And if need be, they'll take you down. So everybody, it's just like, I'll just be quiet. I'll just be quiet. And if you want to know why Trump makes the noise he makes and people still support him, even though everybody's like, it's only 15% of the country, slow your roll. It's a lot more than you think. A lot of people are quiet about it. It's because they feel he says things that they think. And if they said it, they'd be in super trouble. He says it. He handles the media heat. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. We're following what is going on in South Carolina. There was a shooting of officers. It is a really bizarre situation. This is Mayor Spock's John Waluka.
The situation is still unfolding. What we can tell you right now is that the City of Florence Police responded to an incident in support of the Florence County Sheriff's Office. And they, during the situation, the officers took fire.
So they took fire. 5 have been shot. This is Tanya Brown talking about one of the officers.
I was just told from the Florence County Sheriff's Office that a city officer has died in the shooting and that 2 county deputies, their conditions are pretty much touch and go right now. I'm told the suspect is in custody, and because of his age, I'm told he's an elderly man. This is from deputies, that he is at the hospital. His condition isn't known.
Who knows why? An elderly man angry about something. Maybe he's not all there. They'll find that out. But a situation, see how far this goes, what the narrative will be. And if this dies down really quick, because there's nothing for the media to point out here that's, 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Somebody just texted in and said, do you think men are worried about this for real, or is that sarcasm? No, I think men are worried about this. I just told you how I felt. I've got friends who have brokerage firms, and they've separated the men and the women. He says he's not hiring any more women. And, yeah, because men are. They're worried about getting sued. They're worried about getting fired. They're worried about this being weaponized. And it's not all women, but it doesn't take all women. You can have 100 women that are great and 100 men that are great, right? And then along comes one on either side that ruins everything. But, yeah, there's a worrisome there for people. And it has nothing to do with whether or not, we better not do this because I'm afraid I may rape somebody. No, it has nothing to do with that. They're afraid of getting sued. They're afraid of getting fired. They're afraid of, there's a lot of things. And if you ask a man and they're honest with you, they'll say, yeah. Yeah, because something you may do today, you could be friends with the person in the cubicle next to you, and you two could have been hanging out every day for the last 5 years and best friends, and she gets fired, and to take revenge, boom. What was funny jokes back then, now you're in trouble. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. So it's called MyPillow. Love it. Love it. I sleep so well. You will too. It's time for you to get in MyPillow. Don't you even think about getting anything else. MyPillow's it. 100% machine washable and dryable, made in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. If you want to sleep like you've never slept before, this is it. They got a BOGO going on. You call them up, or go to their website. You're going to use my code. You're going to buy one. They're going to give you one for free. 800-944-4975 or mypillow.com. That's mypillow.com. When you do, use the promo code Benson. You buy one, you get one free. 800-944-4975 or mypillow.com, promo code Benson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
Several men have texted in and said, yes, I worry about those things. Somebody also texted in and say, is this kind of the way that maybe, say, minorities may worry about law enforcement? There you go. I think guys do worry about it. You know, we had that actor, I forgot who it was earlier this year, who just got taken to task because he said, look, I only date people that I used to date because in this day and age, I can't trust. And he got taken to town. All along the way, you heard story after story, right? Chris Hardwick and Aziz Ansari and all of these guys who had gone on dates or somebody accused them of something. And in this day and age, you may be proven innocent in a court of law if you ever get there. And that's saying a big if, because 99.9% of these never get anywhere near that. But it doesn't matter, because the only court that matters is the court of public opinion, because that's what pays your bills for a lot of these people. And if you're the average run-of-the-mill guy, now it's, just think about it. And it's sad. It is. It is very, very, very sad that we live in that world. But you knew the pendulum was going to swing that way. And eventually it will come back and it will level itself off. And you saying something, you joking about something isn't going to be something that gets you destroyed for life. Is that tomorrow? Probably not. Will it happen sooner rather than later? I think so. I think calmer, cooler heads will prevail. And I think that's where the women are going to step up, and they're going to be the ones that go, okay, we've had enough of this. You're giving all women this opportunity to weaponize, and we don't want that. We want the people that have done bad things to face the music. But enough. And those goalposts, too. You know, we've heard of all that the last couple of days. Goalposts keep moving. That is huge. And that's not just Me Too. It's everything. You said a joke today, 6 months ago was fine. 7, 8, 10, 12 months. A year. It's bad. You're going to hell. You're done. Because we deem it not funny now. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Do you care about Trump's taxes, his money? Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The blockbuster investigation in the New York Times takes aim at the story President Trump has been telling for decades, that he turned a $1 million loan from his father into an empire worth billions.
Tonight, the New York Times investigation claims that he actually got far more and that hundreds of millions from his family's estate was hidden through, quote, dubious tax schemes.
Dubious tax schemes. Name one of my bands right now, by the way. Was it dubious? I don't know. I've not seen all of the stuff. I've read through some of it, but they're denying it, and his brother and sister denying this and saying, look, you know what? Dad died in 99. That was Fred. Mom died in 2000. IRS and the state tax board wrote this thing off, said it was fine. We moved on. How dubious was it? That's the question. But remember, Trump built a persona. He built an aura about him. I got a small loan, and I built this thing up.
I built this incredible company. I started off, think of it. I started with $1 million loan. I built a company that's worth more than $10 billion, okay? More.
Well, look, he's not lying. He may have started off with $1 million loan, but that loan could have got bigger through times, right? Like, you start somewhere doesn't mean you finish somewhere.
But reporters from the Times who examined more than 100,000 pages of documents say that's not true. They report Fred Trump actually loaned his son at least $60.7 million. During the campaign, Trump said he paid his father back that $1 million loan.
I got a very, very small loan from my father many years ago. I built that into a massive empire, and I paid my father back that loan.
There's the question. Remember, he built this. I built this empire. I will say this. I don't care if you got a $5 million loan, $20 million loan, whatever it was. He's grown his business. That I will give him. In a world of real estate, in an area where, look, New York, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you guys this straight out. Has Trump dealt with mobsters? 100%. Has he probably done stuff that's shady? Absolutely. Does everybody who works in that industry in a place like New York and elsewhere have to do things, grease palms, do things like that? Yeah, probably. Right? I mean, my God, if you're even having your trash taken out, you're probably dealing with a mobster in New York. But he built this aura like this, and it's all the tax returns. That's our question of the day. It's like, do you want to see Trump's tax returns? A majority of you don't, because you know why? You don't care. Because you're not focused on what he has. You care about what you have. You're like, this is my lane. My lane seems to be getting easier. It seems to be moving smoother. It seems to be going in the direction I want. I really don't care. The left, they really care about this. This is like something that they just, I got to know. And a lot of it is jealousy. It is. Because they look at that money and they say that's money we should have because we're promising all of these people over here this stuff. We're telling you that capitalism doesn't work, not working the way that you think it should be working because it should be more restricted and that it should be trickle-down economics doesn't work. You know what does work? Trickle down from the government. That's what works. They're telling you all these things. Look, his dad was rich. So what? What do I care? There's no bearing on my life.
According to the investigation, by age 3, the president was earning $200,000 a year in today's dollars from his father's empire. He was a millionaire by age 8. In his 40s and 50s, he was receiving more than $5 million a year. They point to records, they say, show that when the president's parents died, they transferred well over $1 billion in wealth to their children.
Don't care. I don't care. Why does everybody care? Because they want to get their hands on it. That's the thing. We want that money. It's not fair. You should tell us that. No, it's not. Let me ask you this, right? You're a progressive liberal. You're worth $30 million. Are you going to tell your kids you're not getting a penny? You're screwed. I'm giving it all away to the poor. Or does a majority of people on both sides of the aisle make sure their family's taken care of? Right? Does a majority of people do that? I believe they do. I believe they do. 100%. Do I care that he was making $200,000 a year when he was 8? No. Or a millionaire? Again, no. What do I care? Why should I care? That's my question to people. Well, you should care because it's not fair. What's not fair? Well, what they did was wrong.
That would have produced a tax bill of at least $550 million. But the paper reports the family employed a variety of tax dodges in order to pay only $52.2 million. The president's personal lawyer tonight pushing back, saying the New York Times allegations of fraud and tax evasion are 100% false.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, remember, it's New York Times, and they're coming at it from a different direction, right? So they're coming at it from a different direction. They're trying to find something. This is what I'm trying to find. This is it. This is what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find where he did something wrong. Dodging taxes is not, again, is he a tax cheat? Or did you set up a game? And the game was this, and 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 this. And you're like, okay, so that's what the game is. Yeah, that's the game. And as long as you stay in these parameters, as long as you stay in here, whatever happens, happens. And so they go fine. And they put together a bunch of people who go, we got this. We can move over here. We can do this. We can put some of this in the trust. We can start this over here. We can move this here. All of a sudden, we can set this up. We'll have corporations offshore, the whole 9 yards. And we come back and go, we stayed inside the parameters. This is what we owe you. And you're like, hey, that's not fair. You set up the rules. If I beat you, that's on you. They're upset because they feel they're owed that money that had been taxed before. Money that had been made, money that the government didn't earn, that Fred and his wife and the Trumps earned. They feel they should get that money. That's what it's all about. Greed, government's greed. And then Chris Cuomo last night goes off on this, and it's hilarious how Chris Cuomo goes off on who he is and blah, 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 and this whole side, and he was born on, he was born basically at home plate, the silver spoon, the gold spoon, as if Chris Cuomo doesn't have advantages in his life.
This is about honesty on one level. The president saying that he got $1 million from his father when he got 60, that he says he was self-made and Fred Trump was only good, but he was great, when Fred Trump obviously had way more in assets than he's ever had. And we see in this clear timeline that he has been feeding from the Fred trough his entire life. Isn't this the truth? Isn't this something that he should own instead of saying he's a self-made man?
Well, first of all, how much money did he get? Remember, you're converting it into today's dollars. He's worth billions, and even if he got 400 million, he's worth billions. 2 billion, 3 billion, 1 billion. He's done well. Go to Silicon Valley, go find venture capitalists, find out how much money they've given out and how much doesn't work. My God, I can go back to Solyndra. We gave $500 million to a company that failed. Remember that? $500 million. Not a tax break. Here's $500 million. Here's $500 million. Of course, everybody's resume is padded. Who's going to get up there and go, I suck. It was all my dad. My dad. Nobody's going to do that. Come on, Chris. Look where you are, Chris Cuomo. You don't think having the last name Cuomo carried a little cachet with it? You don't think at all? That's the thing. Everybody wants to call everybody out on stuff. But here's the thing I'm going to tell you guys on the left. His base doesn't care. They don't give a rat's ass. They don't care how he made his money. Well, what if he cheated? Did he cheat, or did he cheat according to you because you want that money because you think that's the thing that's fair? Right? You think that's the thing that's fair. That's what you want. You want it to be fair because for whatever reason, you believe that money is the government's money. Why are you so into giving the government more power and more money? Please, for the love of God, tell me why.
It's grotesque. I mean, it is just unbelievable. And you know, my hat is I'm so impressed by the quality of the journalism and the care with which this is done. But there's really a larger political message here, which is that if you get a W-2 like most people, you get a salary, you have basically no chance to cheat on your taxes. I mean, they withhold a certain amount every 2 weeks. That's just sort of how taxes work in this country. But if you're rich, like the Trumps, you can set up a system like this.
Yeah, that's right. But you set up a system like this within the parameters that the government has set up. And because they can beat the system, they can beat the system. They can beat the system that you set up. Whose fault's that? Just come out and say it. We want that money. Just come out and say, I want that money. We need that money. That money's ours. Come out and say it. Come out and be the greed that you scream about all the time, how horrible it is. Just come out and say it. We need that money. That's our money. People need that money. Come out and say it. I don't know what he did, but here's the thing. I don't give a rat's ass. I understand why some people are out there, or at least honest, and say, look, I want to know if he's owned by the Russians. Okay, I can get that. Even though he is doing so many things against the Russians that aren't in his best interest, there are other things you could come out and say, well, I'm more curious about this, I'm more curious about that. But, okay, at least I can understand that. And he did say, look, if he wanted to show his taxes, that's on him. But he says a lot of things, as do a lot of politicians. But this obsession with OPM, other people's money, this obsession with that is insane. I could never be this obsessed over somebody else's money. This, I need, I want, I have to. It's somebody else's. You didn't build that. It's mine. We need it. If you die, we should be able to take it all. That, to me, is crazy. And let me tell you something. If you came to me today and say, you're not allowed to leave your family anything, right? The government's going to take it all. The government's going to take it, and they're going to decide what to do with it. You can't leave your family anything but a very scant amount, right? Because we decide that. Do you know what everybody's going to do? They're going to piss their money away the minute they have a chance. That last few days on Earth, that last few years on Earth, they're going to spend it wild and crazy because everybody, right or left, isn't going to give the government a chance to have it. And they could scream on both sides of the aisle, yeah, we will do that. We're kind and nice. BS. It's a bunch of crap. It's the greed. They want your money. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say what? Say what? So, people are texting in, and Trump supporters don't care about his money, don't care about his taxes. Orrin Hatch says, you know what, he may have to release his taxes, so we'll see what happens there. See if they can, and I'm okay. Look, I'm okay either way. The whole thought process of his taxes, all the stuff with, him being Russia's, puppet, and the stuff that he's gone and done to Russia, whether it's arming the Ukrainian rebels or getting into Syria and fighting, all of these things, there are issues there where you look back and you go, he's been a lot tougher on Russia, and that's not something that a puppet is going to do. Oh, it is if you're trying to throw off the smell of stink. Okay. So, I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? Some of you are making a valid point when it comes to, what about some of these people he stiffed, some of these vendors? Yeah, he has stiffed some vendors. He's done some stuff. Not all, you see the number and it's in the 3,000 or 4,000. You have to understand something. Sometimes when a big business goes into business to do other things, right? It's not under they set up a project as its own business. And if it fails, they will bankrupt that business. And it sucks, right? It's under the umbrella of the big one, but it's not part of it. Every one of the movies that you go see, right? So you go see a movie. Those are distributed, and Warner Brothers or 20th Century Fox or MGM and stuff, what they do is they set up own LLCs inside of those as their own money-making failure. They put the money in there. If it fails on its own, that's its thing. They write it all off. It's not under MGM or any of these things. It's very interesting. And some of the stuff that Trump has done, I'm not thrilled by. And other stuff, I understand it's business. Atlantic City, it failed. It crumbled. Trump lost a ton of money. Other people lost a ton of money as well. And some of it, I think, was just bad business and was poor the way that he handled things. It was. Absolutely. I can be straightforward and honest right there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Now, tomorrow night, Venom is going to debut along with A Star Is Born. And this is with, which should be very interesting. It's going to go, it's Bradley Cooper. It's Lady Gaga in her acting debut. At least on the motion pictures side of things. But it's going up against Venom. And Venom is looking to crush it. Maybe $65 million. Some say $70 million. Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper in the remake of Star is Born is only trailing, it's trailing big time. Some estimates put it about 25 to 30 million behind Venom. And what they're saying now is trolls are out destroying Venom. Destroying it, giving it horrible ratings already, doing all kinds of things because they're Lady Gaga's fans and they're coming hardcore after it because they don't want to see it handed to it. Look, Venom's going to win the weekend. It's huge. I can't wait to see it. Jack and I are seeing it this weekend. If his head feels better and his doctor says, okay, we're going to go see it this weekend, and it looks fun. And I would be interested in seeing Star is Born as well. I think that looks like a very interesting movie, but this is how the internet is used now. How can we not only promote our picture, how can we damn our picture? I read an article yesterday that one of the things they were talking about when it came to the Han Solo movie and some of the other Star Wars movies were Russian trolls supposedly destroyed the ratings and the and took down on Rotten Tomatoes and things like that. That's why you got to know. That's why I never I never take somebody says, I saw this movie, it was brilliant, this is why. I'm like, I'm going to go see it for myself. Oh, this movie was horrible. It's like, I'm going to see it for myself. Because critics are supposed to be critics and people love to complain. So if 1,000 people see it and 100 hate it, you'll hear about it. Rarely will you hear the other 900 go, it was an amazing movie. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. MyPillow's amazing. Take this down. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. BOGO. Buy one, get one free. You want the better night's rest? You want to sleep well? You want to rest like you've never rested before? MyPillow's where you go. 100% machine washable and dryable, made in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. It is incredible. I have never slept better. When my head hits the pillow, I'm out. When my head hits the pillow, I'm out like a light. It feels amazing. And the great thing is it doesn't matter where I am. I take my pillow with me. I sleep like I've never slept before. What are you waiting for? Buy one, get one free. 800-944-4975 or mypillow.com. Use the promo code Benson, BENSON. Get two for the price of one. 800-944-4975 or mypillow.com. Promo code Benson. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. 323-538-2423. Hope you're doing well, kids. Get you over the hump. That's what we do here. That's how we pay back you guys for paying attention to our dog and pony show. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. independent in thought and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I had one beer, right? I had one beer. Well, do you think it was... Nope, it was one beer. Oh, good. How did you get home? I don't remember. How'd you get there? I don't remember. Where is the place? I don't remember. How many years ago was it? I don't know. I don't know. What neighborhood was it in? I don't know. Where's the house? I don't know. Upstairs, downstairs, where was it? I don't know. But I had one beer. That's the only thing I remember. And a man's life is in tatters. A man's life is shattered.
He's right. He's right. He's right. You may not like Trump, and I have no problem with you not liking Trump. I don't always like the things he does. I'm not a never-Trumper, never have been. I get behind my presidents. I want them to succeed. One thing about Trump is he understands an audience like very few. He may not be great at speeches, right? But he's great at an audience. He's great at getting out there and delivering. And last night, Trump delivered. He talked about something. He threw something out there. This FBI investigation is going to wrap up potentially today, but we may not see it for a couple days. He's right. There are questions out there. But see, we live in a world where we have to have two personas anymore. The persona that makes everybody feel good because we lead with feelings, and our quiet persona where maybe we believe something, but we are afraid to say it out loud because we're going to get damned by the world. And who has made that persona, made us be this way? In many ways, it's the establishment media, because they jump on you for saying things like, you got to believe her. And if you don't believe her, you're a misogynistic pig. No, I believe the truth, whatever the truth may be. Don't care what it is. If you can prove Kavanaugh did something, then I believe it. If you can't prove it, what am I supposed to do? Well, it's nice to feel this way. It's nice to believe this way. Nice has nothing to do with it. Feelings have nothing to do with it. I want facts. I want data. I want truth. The media has caused a lot of this. That's that personas. We have two personas we have to have now. We have to have the persona of nice, feelings, empathy, all of those soft and cuddly things. Even if it isn't the truth, it's the way we want it to be. Or you can be a jerk and the world can come after you. And I have a lot of friends out there, many of you watching and listening and all of those things. You guys know this. It's that peer pressure of, ooh, I better clap because they said something horrible about Trump because I don't want people to think I'm a horrible person. And I better do that because it's all about groupthink. The media has caused so much of this, and they have been completely disingenuous in a lot of this coverage.
That we talked to, who I think a lot of more registered Democrats raised questions about Dr. Ford's story. Now, that's something in 24/7 news coverage, at least in mainstream media, you never hear anybody talk about. They won't talk about it. They feel that, if anybody sticks their neck out and says that they disbelieve any part of her story, or if they talk about how there are no corroborating witnesses, well, they'll get absolutely slammed.
And that is true. They're afraid because we live in a world of fear. We live in a world of we have to have two personas. We live in a world of I can't actually be myself because you're going to think I'm an awful, horrible, disgusting, vile human being because we judge everybody like that. We stop living our lives the way we should. We instead need to look a certain way. And this is one of those things. I don't doubt that something happened to Dr. Ford. I don't doubt that at all. I think something did. Something has affected her. What I doubt is, was it him? How do you remember these things, but you don't remember these things? How is it we got to this point where we have to believe everybody about everything that makes us all feel good because we're the underdog, we cheer for them in the whole 9 yards, and it became an us versus them and this tribalism and craziness? How is it we cannot, let's look at the truth. Let's look at the facts. But the media has done a lot of this, and what they do is they put fear into you. So you feel like I've got to do this, even though I may not believe it, because it's the right thing to do. And it's all about being the right thing, right? It's all about being that safe thing. It's all about being that, instead of coming out and saying, look, I don't believe her. I'm not saying she's a liar. I just look at this guy. I know this guy. I don't know her. They've done all these background checks. Now all this stuff comes out. We can't even question why it came out at this point, at this time. Because if you do, all of a sudden it makes you feel like you're some sort of horrible misogynistic pig, which is a bunch of crap. But that's how the media plays the game. Remember the media game that's played. And we talk about it all the time on the Chad Benson Show, which is, it's what you don't see. Right? Letter from her ex-boyfriend comes out. You got to search to find it. Why? It was given to everybody. Well, because the media doesn't want to portray her as anything but what they want to portray her as. Because it's a feel-good story for them. And it's a get back at Trump thing. And the coverage has been singularly one-sided from the establishment media.
We found her to be very persuasive, but the media coverage of this has been so one-sided. It has been so biased. There has been the presumption from the very beginning that every single allegation made against the judge was true. And I say this again as somebody who said before the allegations he should be on the Supreme Court.
That's Joe Scarborough. That is. That's Joe Scarborough. The media has done so much of this. The media has done so much of this. They've played such a massive part in this game. And it's that I better do what's right because I want to look a certain way. And if I don't look a certain way, and we can't ask her a question that's honest because that's attacking the victim, even if it means destroying another human being. We don't want to be looked as an insensitive SOB. Oh, my God, what are we going to do? Whose fault is that? Trump just exploited last night the opportunity to get out in front of the people that do want Kavanaugh. His base, remember, Trump is never going to appease anybody, and he sure in the hell isn't going to make half the country happy no matter what he does. No matter what he does. But you're not allowed to ask because she's a victim, and she's been portrayed as a victim from jump. And I blame the Democrats so much on this. They have thrown her out to the media wolves who've then been allowed to construct and build stories on a little bit of here and a little bit of there, and they construct this puzzle piece, and they're constructing who she is and all of these things. And then you hear from some people like, I don't really remember anything, or I wasn't there. And then other people are getting dragged in this they didn't want to be a part of. And all of a sudden we've got this FBI investigation, and God knows when this is going to finish, but I'm assuming today, but who knows when we're going to find out the results. And all the while, we've also had a man who's been portrayed, been essentially portrayed as a evil white man, spoiled white privileged, an alcoholic, a drunk, a serial rapist. And that's okay to portray him like that. It's okay to portray him like that, but her, because she's a victim, allegedly, don't even dare ask a question.
Nobody has dared say, even the Republicans, that part of Dr. Ford's story just might not add up. So you have a complete absence in the mainstream media. You have conservatives saying to each other, but wait a second, there's no this, there's no that, but wait, what this, what that.
Yeah, because it's that persona that we have to have where we don't look like a giant a-hole to the world. So you try to do all you can to not look insensitive, even though you have questions, because we know the damningness that's going to come from it from the establishment media and the games that they play. So what do? Can't ask tough questions because you're a misogynistic, patriarchal pig. Oh, geez. Questions that need to be answered. Don't want to tear another human being apart just because you're not a horrible person and you don't want to tear another person apart. The person that should be torn apart are the Democrats, Dianne Feinsteins, and the people like that who've thrown this woman out there, thrown her out there to the wolves. And when they're done with her, they're just going to discard her on the trash heap of history. She's going to be a side note on a Wikipedia page because nobody cares, because in the end, it was the ends justify the means. Period. Case closed. End of story. Those are the ones who we should all have anger with. Those are the people we should have anger with. The Feinsteins, the Cory Bookers, the Kamala Harrises, the people running in 2020 making their Spartacus moments, doing the things that they're doing, showboating, grandstanding, not caring 1 second, 1 iota about who this woman is and maybe what she's went through, because at this point in time, you don't care, because as far as you're concerned, it's not about her, it's about stopping him.
And so then Donald Trump goes and he says it. Yeah. And it is like lighting a keg on fire. And I will say, not just because Donald Trump divides every day in a way that is unbecoming of a president, but because the media has also given Donald Trump a massive opening because they've been so one-sided on this story that it allows him to light dynamite and blow the whole thing up.
Yep. Let me tell you about the division in this country. The division's there, right? Half the country doesn't like Donald Trump. So no matter what he does, he's not going to be a uniter, because half the country doesn't want to unite with him at all. They can't stand him. Period. Case closed. End of story. So he plays to the people that do like him. I get it. Got no problem with that. And the media loves the division because it gets them ratings. But Donald Trump went out there and did what he did last night because a lot of people are afraid to do it. And a lot of people who even believe Kavanaugh, who believe that this is a giant sham, are afraid to do it. I think there's ways you can do things without being awful or brutal. I'm not even saying what he did last night was, because I don't think it was. But what I am saying is everybody's afraid, and it's the kit gloves that people are walking around putting on when they talk about certain subjects. And part of that is because they're terrified because they know the consequences potentially is them losing their job.
She's been treated like a Fabergé egg by all of us, beginning with me and the president. He's pointing out factual inconsistencies.
Kellyanne Conway. Fabergé egg. That's what she's been treated as. Oh, speak of it. Are you getting it, Phil?
No, I just got it.
I'm getting the emergency alert system today. The presidential emergency alert system went out. So for those of you out there checking on your phones, you're getting the that's everybody's getting that. No matter how much you turn stuff off, you're getting that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Maybe he is texting me. He saw what I said, and he's like, yeah, that guy's not so bad, even though other times I'm not a big fan of him. 323-538-2423. I want to hear from you. Let me know. You can text the program. You can tweet at Chad Benson Show. You can follow along on Facebook, Chad Benson Show, on the YouTube, Chad Benson Show TV, Instagram as well, at Chad Benson Show. Hey, if you're over 50, there's a great company out there called AMAC. So you see ARP's left-leaning. They're out there doing the things like they want Obamacare. They want stricter regulations. They want all of these things. They're not advocating on your behalf. There is a group out there that does advocate on your behalf. There is a group out there that does want things like Social Security reform, Medicare reform, things of that nature. It is AMAC. AMAC is amazing. Not only are they going to go out there and politically advocate for things that you believe in, but on top of that, they give you great discounts on things like movie tickets, 40% off. How about the benefits of being able to go to Disneyland, Disney World, SeaWorld, Legoland, Six Flags? 40% off, up to 60% off supplemental dental plans, retail, restaurant, hotel, and travel bookings. Yeah, kids, huge discounts there. How would you like to join for a year for free today? They don't even want your credit card. They just want your time. Sign up. It's simple. It's easy. No credit card required. Go to amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad, or call 888-355-1668. That's 888-355-1668, or online at amac.us/Chad. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. It is the Chad Benson Show.
Welcome to the Alt Middle, where solutions live and ignorance dies. The Chad Benson Show.
1 in
3 U.S. adults chow down on fast food on any given day. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has released numbers based on a survey of about 10,000 adults over a 4-year period. An earlier study found a similar proportion of children and adolescents ate fast food on any given day, but this study found as people get older, they consumed less of it. Just a slight percentage of men ate more fast food than women. Lunch was the most common fast food meal, followed by dinner. Blacks were the highest consuming ethnic group. Health experts warn too much fast food can lead to serious illnesses like diabetes and heart disease.
And fattiness. Don't forget that. This leads to fattiness. Chad, you're such a jerk. We've all been there before, right? Come on now. You know why? Because it's cheap and it's easy. Life's expensive. We're busy. Mom doesn't stay home anymore with the kids. Because mom doesn't stay anymore with the kids, we don't eat the way we used to. Everybody's working. Life's a lot tougher. Kids are busier than ever before. Everybody seems to be going in 25 different directions. And so what's the easiest thing? Shouldn't even be called fast food anymore. It should be called convenient food. It's convenient. I can go somewhere, I can get dinner, I can get a burger, and I can be done and dusted in 15, 20 minutes, and away I go. Mom and dad come home from a long day's work. Guess what? The last thing I ever want to do is make dinner or get anything ready. Dad's going over. He's got to pick up the kids at soccer. Mom's trying to get dinner. Sometimes it's just easier. It is. Plus the expense. The reality is you got a couple bucks in your pocket. You're on a limited budget. You can go somewhere and get something really cheap and fill you up. That's the truth. It's not healthy for you. Not if you eat it in abundance. It's not. It's not bad. You go once or twice a week and you get yourself a burger someplace or fast food, Mexican food, something like that. It's not a big deal. But if you can constantly do it, it can be. Plus, it's choices, too. I always forget about choices. There was a guy a couple years ago, a teacher, who lost like 40 pounds, and he did it eating at McDonald's. He wanted to show everybody, if you make all the wrong choices, you're going to get fat. You can make right choices and lose weight. But it's just convenience. That's it. And it's going to continue to be that way. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. I want to talk about the EAS president's test that just happened. Plus, Trump, his finances. Has some of the shine gone off? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It is the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The blockbuster investigation in the New York Times takes aim at the story President Trump has been telling for decades, that he turned a $1 million loan from his father into an empire worth billions.
Tonight, the New York Times investigation claims that he actually got far more and that hundreds of millions from his family's estate was hidden through, quote, dubious tax schemes.
Dubious tax schemes. Name one of my bands right now, by the way. Was it dubious? I don't know. I've not seen all of the stuff. I've read through some of it, but they're denying it, and his brother and sister are denying this and saying, look, you know what? Dad died in 99. That was Fred. Mom died in 2000. IRS and the state tax board wrote this thing off, said it was fine. We moved on. How dubious was it? That's the question. But remember, Trump built a persona. He built an aura about him. I got a small loan, and I built this thing up.
I built this incredible company. I started off, think of it. I started with $1 million loan. I built a company that's worth more than $10 billion, okay? More.
Well, look, he's not lying. He may have started off with $1 million loan, but that loan could have got bigger through times, right? Like you start somewhere doesn't mean you finish somewhere.
But reporters from the Times, who examined more than 100,000 pages of documents, say that's not true. They report Fred Trump actually loaned his son at least $60.7 million. During the campaign, Trump said he paid his father back that $1 million loan.
I got a very, very small loan from my father many years ago. I built that into a massive empire, and I paid my father back that loan.
There's the question. Remember, he built this. I built this empire. I will say this. I don't care if you got a $5 million loan, $20 million loan, whatever it was. He's grown his business. That I will give him. In a world of real estate, in an area where, look, New York, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you guys this straight out. Has Trump dealt with mobsters? 100%. Has he probably done stuff that's shady? Absolutely. Does everybody who works in that industry in a place like New York and elsewhere have to do things, grease palms, do things like that? Yeah, probably. Right? I mean, my God, if you're even having your trash taken out, you're probably dealing with a mobster in New York. But he built this aura like this, and it's all the tax returns. That's our question of the day. It's like, do you want to see Trump's tax returns? A majority of you don't, because you know why? You don't care. Because you're not focused on what he has. You care about what you have. You're like, this is my lane. My lane seems to be getting easier. It seems to be moving smoother. It seems to be going in the direction I want. I really don't care. The left, they really care about this. This is like something that they just, I got to know it. And a lot of it is jealousy. It is. Because they look at that money and they say that's money we should have because we're promising all of these people over here this stuff. We're telling you that capitalism doesn't work, not working the way that you think it should be working because it should be more restricted and that it should be trickle-down economics doesn't work. You know what does work? Trickle down from the government. That's what works. They're telling you all these things. Look, his dad was rich. So what? What do I care? There's no bearing on my life.
According to the investigation, by age 3, the president was earning $200,000 a year in today's dollars from his father's empire. He was a millionaire by age 8. In his 40s and 50s, he was receiving more than $5 million a year. They point to records, they say, show that when the president's parents died, they transferred well over $1 billion in wealth to their children.
Don't care. I don't care. Why does everybody care? Because they want to get their hands on it. That's the thing. We want that money. It's not fair. You should tell us that. No, it's not. Let me ask you this, right? You're a progressive liberal. You're worth $30 million. Are you going to tell your kids you're not getting a penny? You're screwed. I'm giving it all away to the poor. Or does a majority of people on both sides of the aisle make sure their family's taken care of? Right? Does a majority of people do that? I believe they do. 100%. Do I care that he was making $200,000 a year when he was 8? No. Or a millionaire? Again, no. What do I care? Why should I care? That's my question to people. Well, you should care because it's not fair. What's not fair? Well, what they did was wrong.
That would have produced a tax bill of at least $550 million. But the paper reports the family employed a variety of tax dodges in order to pay only $52.2 million. The president's personal lawyer tonight pushing back, saying the New York Times allegations of fraud and tax evasion are 100% false.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, remember, it's New York Times, and they're coming at it from a different direction, right? So they're coming at it from a different direction. They're trying to find something. This is what I'm trying to find. This is it. This is what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find where he did something wrong. Dodging taxes is not, again, is he a tax cheat? Or did you set up a game? And the game was this, and 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 this. And you're like, okay, so that's what the game is. Yeah, that's the game. And as long as you stay in these parameters, as long as you stay in here, whatever happens, happens. And so they go, fine. And they put together a bunch of people who go, we got this. We can move over here. We can do this. We can put some of this in the trust. We can start this over here. We can move this here. All of a sudden, we can set this up. We'll have corporations offshore, the whole 9 yards. And we come back and go, we've stayed inside the parameters. This is what we owe you. And you're like, hey, that's not fair. You set up the rules. If I beat you, that's on you. They're upset because they feel they're owed that money that had been taxed before. Money that had been made, money that the government didn't earn, that Fred and his wife and the Trumps earned. They feel they should get that money. That's what it's all about. Greed. Government's greed. Greed. And then Chris Cuomo last night goes off on this, and it's hilarious how Chris Cuomo goes off on, who he is and blah, 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 and this whole side. And he was born on, he was born basically at home plate, the silver spoon, the gold spoon, as if Chris Cuomo doesn't have advantages in his life.
This is about honesty on one level. The president saying that he got $1 million from his father when he got 60, that he says he was self-made and Fred Trump was only good, but he was great, when Fred Trump obviously had way more in assets than he's ever had. And we see in this clear timeline that he has been feeding from the Fred trough his entire life. Isn't this the truth? Isn't this something that he should own instead of saying he's a self-made man?
Well, first of all, how much money did he get? Remember, you're converting it into today's dollars. He's worth billions, and even if he got $400 million, he's worth billions. $2 billion, $3 billion, $1 billion. He's done well. Go to Silicon Valley, go find venture capitalists, find out how much money they've given out and how much doesn't work. My God, I can go back to Solyndra. We gave $500 million to a company that failed. Remember that? $500 million. Not a tax break. Here's $500 million. Here's $500 million. Of course, everybody's resume is padded. Everybody's who's going to get up there and go, I suck. It was all my dad. Nobody's going to do that. Come on, Chris. Look where you are, Chris Cuomo. You don't think having the last name Cuomo carried a little cachet with it? You don't think at all? That's the thing. Everybody wants to call everybody out on stuff. But here's the thing I'm going to tell you guys on the left. His base doesn't care. They don't give a rat's ass. They don't care how he made his money. Well, what if he cheated? Did he cheat, or did he cheat according to you because you want that money because you think that's the thing that's fair? Right? You think that's the thing that's fair. That's what you want. You want it to be fair because for whatever reason, you believe that money is the government's money. Why are you so into giving the government more power and more money? Please, for the love of God, tell me why.
It's grotesque. I mean, it is just unbelievable. And my hat is I'm so impressed by the quality of the journalism and the care with which this is done. But there's really a larger political message here, which is that if you get a W-2 like most people, you get a salary, you have basically no chance to cheat on your taxes. I mean, they withhold a certain amount every 2 weeks. That's just sort of how taxes work in this country. But if you're rich, like the Trumps, you can set up a system like this.
Yeah, that's right. But you set up a system like this within the parameters that the government has set up. And because they can beat the system, they can beat the system. They can beat the system that you set up. Whose fault's that? Just come out and say it. We want that money. Just come out and say, I want that money. We need that money. That money's ours. Come out and say it. Come out and be the greed that you scream about all the time, how horrible it is. Just come out and say it. We need that money. That's our money. People need that money. Come out and say it. I don't know what he did, but here's the thing. I don't give a rat's ass. I understand why some people are out there, or at least honest, and say, look, I want to know if he's owned by the Russians. Okay, I can get that. Even though he is doing so many things against the Russians that aren't in his best interest, there are other things you could come out and say, well, I'm more curious about this or more curious about that. But, okay, at least I can understand that. And he did say, look, if he wanted to show his taxes, that's on him. But he says a lot of things, as do a lot of politicians. But this obsession with OPM, other people's money, this obsession with that is insane. I could never be this obsessed over somebody else's money. This I need, I want, I have to. It's somebody else's. You didn't build that. It's mine. We need it. If you die, we should be able to take it all. That, to me, is crazy. And let me tell you something. If you came to me today and say, you're not allowed to leave your family anything, right? The government's going to take it all. The government's going to take it, and they're going to decide what to do with it. You can't leave your family anything but a very scant amount, right? Because we decide that. Do you know what everybody's going to do? They're going to piss their money away the minute they have a chance. That last few days on Earth, that last few years on Earth, they're going to spend it wild and crazy because everybody, right or left, isn't going to give the government a chance to have it. And they could scream on both sides of the aisle, yeah, we will do that. We're kind and nice. BS. It's a bunch of crap. It's the greed. They want your money. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Here's something that doesn't cost you a lot of money. It's $5, free shipping. After that, stuff ships at normal price, but it's still so cheap, you're going to love it. It is called Dollar Shave Club. They got the Daily Essential Starter Set. It's incredible. It really is. They got a few of them. They got the toothbrush and toothpaste. They've got the razor one, which I love, with Dr. Carver's shave butter. They've got, and by the way, I have all of their products, and all of their products are incredible. They got beard oil. They got beard oil. Let's say it's Dollar Shave Club, but it's all about razors. No, it's so much more. They got beard oil. You got a beard oil. It's like the beard oil. You can put your beard. Oh, yeah. Hand cream, they got it. Hair care products, got it. Shower, shampoo, conditioner, you name it, they got it. Toothpaste, toothbrush, boom. Daily Essential Starter Set, that's how you start. Choose the one you want to go with. After that, stuff ships at normal price. $5, free shipping. Do it now. DollarShaveClub.com/Chad. 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 So earlier, and I don't know if you guys had any of these problems throughout the day, but the presidential text thing goes off, right? But on top of that, it goes off on the TVs throughout the studios. And then when stuff comes back on, it goes back to C-SPAN, and I can't get it off C-SPAN, and it's been driving me crazy all day. And now we got no signal, and all of this stuff is happening. And my thing is, if this is how that you're going to text us in case of emergency, and with everything going south, I don't know if I have the confidence in it right now. I don't know. It's going to be the greatest text message in a history of messages. It really is. Well, so far, I am not feeling it. I'm just letting you guys know that. Did you guys have problems with it throughout the day as well? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We got the useless fact of the day straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
Solid. Felt good, kids. It's National Boyfriend Day, and it's also Mean Girls Day. I don't even know how does that work? Be nice to your boyfriends out there. That's all I'm trying to say. Just be nice to your boyfriends. You know, as we talked about Trump there and the finances, people are chiming in saying, Chad, but if he's a cheater, I get it. If he's cheated, I understand that. That I do get, right? I got no problem with that. Hold him accountable. But if he used the system that was set up in many ways by rich people and politicians, if he used the system and didn't do anything that was illegal, just used the system at hand, whether it's a sham or not, and people are like, look, what? That's the system that's set up. You know, a few years ago, people out there were you get like a $10,000 rebate on electric cars, and they were selling golf carts for $9,999 because they were electric. And so you were going to write that off. People used the system. Range Rover, for a long time, was heavy enough to be classified as a farm vehicle. People would use the system to write things off in ways because they understand the system. Right or wrong, we know what you're doing, and you could get frustrated at people, but if the system is set up in such a way and you can exploit that system, you're going to do it. Well, I just think it's wrong. You can think all the things you want about whether or not it's wrong. But is it technically wrong? Nah, it's not. Morally, you can say, well, morally, I think it's reprehensible, it's disgusting, it's grotesque, Jeffrey Toobin, and all those things. Well, you know, I mean, that's your opinion, right? Like, that's your opinion. But if there was no law being broke and they happened to play the game that was in front of them and beat the game that was in front of them, then in the end, it is what it is, right? In the end, it is what it is. You set it up. They beat it. Be frustrated all you want. And the frustration comes from what? Rich people get away with stuff. It's always people on the left screaming about stuff like this. That's what I said. You know, the taxes. If I was Trump, I'd have left the taxes. Tax the rich at 50%. I would have let corporate rates be extremely low. Tax the rich at 50%. I don't care. They're not paying that anyway. You could tell them they're going to pay 90%. They're not paying that. They're not paying that. You know that, and I know that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. So we got podcasts everywhere. Go to I think iTunes and TuneIn Radio. Grab the podcast there. On top of that, we got Chad Benson Show TV on the old YouTube. We got Facebook. We got Instagram at Chad Benson Show. Twitter at Chad Benson Show as well. Your useless fact of the day. Those two little tiny holes in a Bic pen. There's a reason they do that. It ensures that air pressure is the same on both sides, outside and inside. That way the ink flows evenly. Think about those for just a second if you could. Have a good rest of your day. We got you over the hump. We'll do it again tomorrow. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.